Here we go. Hey, vinyl community. This is Hub Tunes, and I'm Mike, and this is my introductory video. I've been thinking about doing this a long time. I've been part of the vinyl community on Instagram and YouTube, watching probably almost 2 years, and I've considered doing this. Didn't know if I should. Didn't know if I had enough opinions. Didn't know if I had enough to say. But here we go, right? What's nothing to lose. So I just thought I'd introduce myself, get a first video out of the way, and then we'll go from there. And if it's not a complete disaster, I'll probably make a few more videos. I live on the north side of Chicago with my partner. We live in a beautiful 3-flat out near Evanston, right on the lakefront. I've lived in Chicago almost 43 years, which is hard to believe. I grew up outside of Boston in a town called Manchester by the Sea, which is very famous now, but in 1977, when I was living there, nobody knew it. And we kind of liked it that way, actually. So growing up outside of Boston in this North Shore suburb, I didn't have access to a lot of records, music stores. We grew up in a little town, one bar, one grocery store, no stoplights, no fast food. So we had to drive quite a ways to get to a record store. And being 10, 11, 12 years old, that I relied on my dad. And my very first album, I dragged him to the record store to get me, was Foreigner, Double Vision. This was the #1 album in the country at the time, or at least at that record store. It was the #1 on their selling charts. You know, I remember back in the day, you could walk in and they'd all right by the door, by the register, they'd have their top sellers. It probably wasn't, who knows? It was something the record companies were promoting and pushing. So this was at the top of the list, and I had to make a big bang with my buck, and this is what I bought, was Foreigner. I get glare. We're gonna figure out all this lighting and sound stuff soon, don't worry. Yeah, but I mean, at the time in 1977 or 78 when this came out, this was a rocker. A 12-year-old kid absolutely loved this album. I then went back, probably quite some time later, because it was a 45-minute to an hour drive to the closest record store. And my next purchase was this. Yep, Gary Numan, The Pleasure Principle. This is the actual cassette I bought that day. Cassettes were huge. In 1978, 79, I had my little Radio Shack guy that I would plug in and record. I would put it up next to the TV and record Saturday Night Live and Don Kirshner's Rock Show and Fridays. Any band that was on TV, I would record it. So I was into cassettes real big in like 77, 78. It was huge. And then come 1980, Dad picked up the family and we moved to Chicago. And my life changed. Nothing was the same after that. I love Chicago. I've been here 43 years. It's an amazing city and it's so much fun, and the music scene and everything is just spectacular. But it was a change of life, from the sleepy little quiet New England town to the big city of Chicago. Grew up in the suburbs out in Chicago, and I was able to ride my bike after school to a record store. And half the time I didn't have money, I just went to browse. And after saving a bunch of money on my paper route and then cutting lawns and whatnot, I discovered this album. Let's get that glare. My life changed when I heard this album. So not only did I move to Chicago and have my life changed, everything everything for me changed when I heard this album. Musically, my musical tastes, I can't even describe it in words. It inspired me in everything I did and in my music collecting, and I was obsessed, absolutely obsessed with the Beatles. And this obsession went on for decades. It's still going on. It's they were something, and that's where I truly believe this obsession behind me and over there and behind you continues to this day. And it's hard to describe, I really can't say any more than that. I think y'all probably have the same feeling or had that same feeling the day you bought that one album that absolutely inspired you for literally decades. And for me, it was Rubber Soul. And it would continue, and we will continue that story in future videos of how we became this obsessed as a 53-year-old man. So that's really all. I just wanted to say hi and get going on this. I don't want this to be, first of all, I want it to be totally casual. And the second it gets drama, I'm probably gonna lose interest. I just wanna talk about music, talk about my collection, talk about new finds, and have a conversation. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of opinion, some political, some not. There'll be a lot of discussion, I hope. I hope that's where we go. And I just want to have a relaxed, good time doing it. I know that's hard on the internet, but I'm going to make that happen. So that's it. First video, done, 7.5 minutes. If it's not a disaster, I'll probably do another one this week, I think. So, like, subscribe. I'm a new guy. That stuff's important to me. Questions, comments, snide remarks, down there in the comments section. Everyone stay safe. Talk to you soon.